What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over why I think you should stop going for Superman in Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, comment down below what you think of Superman, and if you've been struggling to deal with him, I'm actually interested to hear that. And if you guys would like to use my code in the item shop, it is EvolveJake, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So you might look at this and be like, why would I want to ignore Superman? He just got buffed and he's a lot better now. And that is true. But what also got buffed and got a lot better is going to be Core's medallion. So Superman, as of the time I'm making this video, does have an 100% chance spawn rate. And he will always spawn in between first and second zone, right? In Core's island, where you can fight Core and get her medallion, also spawns in when second zone starts. So Superman spawns in a bit before island, so you kind of have to pick one or the other, I think, especially with the buff to Superman. He lasts a little bit longer now. But this also makes getting island a lot easier in some cases because a lot of players in the match are going to be distracted with either trying to become Superman or trying to fight Superman. So if you're able to get to island quick while Superman is creating chaos, in a lot of matches, you will be able to quickly defeat Core and get her medallion without many players or any players really contesting you. And this means you basically get it for free because Core is a very easy boss to eliminate, and she can be eliminated quite quickly. The main problem with dealing with her is like island fights are a bit chaotic and a bit like stalematey because people can always just fly into island to escape. But if you don't have anybody contesting you on island, it's incredibly easy to get her medallion. And with, like I said, these time periods kind of overlap, and a lot of people want to become Superman, so they kind of rush for that Superman icon. And even if they don't end up getting it, they get kind of like bogged down dealing with Superman. So you have a very easy time getting to island, or you have a very easy time getting the medallion, I think, if you ignore Superman and just go right for island. My kind of main strategy for this is to just be kind of near the middle of the map lake area before island is spawning in. So this season, there are currently 3 spawns for where island can spawn. It can spawn near Foxy Floodgate at this like mid-map lake area. It can spawn in the swamp near Lone Wolf Lair, and it can spawn outside Pumped Power. And from my experience, the one in the middle of the map is the most prevalent of all of these spawn locations. It seems like a vast majority of my matches, it's spawning in the middle of the map. I've had many times streaming where I have an island spawn in the swamp or outside Pumped Power, and I get comments from people that didn't even know it could spawn there because every single game they see it, it's mid-map. So being near the middle of the map is going to give you, when second zone hits, is going to give you the best chance to get island quick. And even if it does spawn at one of those other locations, it's easier to go from mid-map to either one of those locations in the event it does end up there than it is to go to one of those locations to mid-map, because the mid-map one is the most contested one anyways. It's just like the way probability works out, it's more likely that people are going to be near the middle of the map, so that one's easier for them to get to. So I go for the one that I think is most likely to get contested, and if it spawns at one of the other ones, that's not great, I'll just drive over there. But since there's less people in that area typically anyways, it often works out. And so I think you want to be near the middle of the map when second zone hits, and you want to try to get Core's medallion as fast as you can. What Fortnite buffed about Core's medallion in this week's update is the forward momentum you get from sprint jumping was improved significantly, which makes you very speedy and very, very difficult to deal with. Like, this medallion was already really overpowered in close range fights because you could just kind of sprint jump over people while invisible. But now you can do that to an even greater degree. It's much easier to kind of break someone's camera and get behind them. The sprint jump on this Core medallion is like a mini little dash. Like, you know, the dashes you get from the dash sprite? It's slightly worse than that, but you can only go forward. So this medallion is very, very good. This is also really helpful for dealing with the Storm Beast or the Mist Gloves, because both of these items are very limited on range. Like, the Storm Beast is melee, and the Mist Gloves are, you know, slightly more than melee range in terms of like where they're good. And you can basically just get out of range of either of those attacks just by sprint jumping. And if you sprint jump over the person while invisible, a lot of people will be really caught off guard. And in addition to this being really good in like those fights and just like repositioning around people, it's also just really good mobility on its own, because you can basically just chain bunny hops or just like jumping and sliding, and you can go pretty fast around the map, and you can actually keep pace with cars in a lot of situations just by like chaining your sprint jump. It feels really nice to travel with, but also it's just like really annoying for other people to deal with because you're often invisible and you're traveling pretty quickly. If you're dealing with any sort of controller players, that invisibility disables aim assist on while you're invisible. And so you have a much easier time traveling the map. You have a much easier time resetting fights. You have a much easier time dealing with the Storm Beast or the Mist Gloves. I think this medallion is incredibly good. I think it's a top 5 medallion all time in Fortnite right now with how it is. So I'm going to cut to a brief explanation in game for how this bunny hop works, because I've been asked about it a good amount while streaming, and it seems like a lot of people are kind of overcomplicating it. So I'm going to show it with my controller buttons on screen so you guys can see, and then we'll pick up for the tail end of the video. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly show the bunny hop that I'm talking about. All you have to do is jump and slide, and you see that with this core medallion, you maintain your momentum for a while. And the fact that you go so fast with this sprint jump makes the bunny hop effect like work really well. And you see I'm not consuming stamina at all. So it's just like very good mobility. And when talking about this on stream, I've seen that there's like some confusion within players. So that's why I have the controller overlay on screen right now. So my jump button is X. My crouch or slide button is right stick. And I've seen people talk about this where they say like it's hard to get the timing right where you slide just as you hit the ground. That's not what you need to do. So pay attention to where my character is when I crouch. I'm hitting crouch well before I hit the ground. Like, it's not like you need to time it like perfectly when you hit the ground. You just have to crouch at some point while in air. And then you could jump right away. Like, I'm basically jumping the moment I hit the ground, but that's not required. Like, I can slide for a little bit and then jump again and then slide again. Like, there's not much precision on the timing with this is basically what I'm trying to say. And like seeing some people talk about it, it seems like they thought they had to hit crouch the moment they hit the ground, and there was like milliseconds of like, you know, a window where you can make that work. And that's just not the case. The window is at any point in air prior to hitting the ground. And as you see by my button clicks, I'm hitting right stick well before hitting the ground. I'm not holding it. I'm just tapping it, which is my crouch button. And yeah. And I've seen people say that like their slide hold time isn't long enough to make this work. I use mine at 0.08. I'll make the slide hold time the longest. And I think it doesn't matter because the slide hold time is like mostly when on the ground. But for something like this, while you're in the air, I think if you just hit the crouch button while you're in the air, you land in a slide. And so even with my slide hold time at max, it's not affecting anything. And so this bunny hop is like incredibly good movement, and I don't think it's very hard to do. I just wanted to showcase that because it seems like some people, like I said, had a misunderstanding of it. And you can do this without having the core medallion as well. It's just like you get less momentum, so it's a bit harder. Or not a bit harder, but just a bit less useful. But if I have momentum like that for my base boost gloves, then we can make it work a little bit better. But either way, the core medallion bunny hop is incredibly good and very easy to do. So hopefully this, you know, brief demonstration helped you out if you were someone who was struggling with it. So now we're back, and hopefully you see that not only is that bunny hop really good and really speedy, but it's also really not that difficult to do. You just gotta jump and slide essentially. This medallion is very good, and as always with medallions, having it is really nice because you get the advantages of having it. But another benefit of having the medallion is you don't have to worry about playing against it, which is one of the reasons why I've really wanted to get the core medallion this entire season, because I think that sprint jump invisibility is not enjoyable to deal with in close range fights. But now I want it even more. Superman also got buffed in this update, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to say that like you shouldn't ignore Superman because Superman is quite good, and that is true. And with the improvements they made, I misunderstood a statistic on Superman when I was reading the patch notes for this season. His like max time allotment is just the maximum amount of time you can have at one time. It doesn't mean that when 5 minutes and 30 seconds is up, which is his max time allotment, that doesn't mean that he's just gone after 5 minutes and 30 seconds. That's just the most amount of time you can have at one point. It's like having 200 health. You can heal after you take damage and get more health, and that's kind of how Superman's timer works. As you get kills, you get more time on Superman. There's not an actual like hard cap. There's just a max amount you can accumulate at one time. So Superman can actually last deep into the game and win. But from my experience, that is never happening. I have never seen a Superman in endgame. And even if I had to deal with Superman, I don't think it's that difficult. And a lot of times I happen upon him when he's already quite weak and easy to clean up. I've even had him go for me on island sometimes when I'm trying to get this medallion. And dealing with him on island is actually very easy because whenever things get like start going south for you, you can just jump onto the wind. So if you're struggling to deal with him, island works. But either way, I think the player that gets Superman makes himself a easy target, and with how much mobility is in the game right now and how good the Spire AR is, I think Superman will often get melted down. So when you get Superman, you're getting like a temporary benefit. If you're the best Superman in the game and things work out for you, like sure, you can win the game off that and make it the entire match. But I think in a vast majority of cases that isn't happening, and just simply avoiding him will make it a problem you don't have to deal with. But even if you do have to deal with it, there's so many tools in the loot pool right now to deal with him that I just don't really think he's worth having. When you get Superman, you have a temporary benefit where you're really overpowered. If you get the core medallion, you're overpowered from that point on until the point where, you know, you're eliminated or win the game. There's not like a time limit on you constantly breathing down your neck. And Superman does have a boon where it'll improve your sprint. So I'm sure a lot of people would say, like, don't you want that boon? You have to do damage to him. And so by ignoring him and going for the medallion, there may be games where I'm not able to get that boon, right? And that is true. But I value the medallion over the boon because the medallion's mobility is so good anyways. I kind of notice having the boon left. But having that better sprint, for sure, it works. You only need about 100 damage on him, so in a lot of cases, I am able to get Island and then go do damage to Superman. But if I'm not able to do damage to him after getting the medallion, it's not the biggest deal to me. I value this medallion significantly more than that boon. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like some more. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this, what you think of the core medallion, and if you are struggling to deal with Superman, let me know, because I will maybe make a more dedicated video on it. But as I've said, I think it's pretty easy to deal with him with what we have in the current loot pool. But I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Almost like having dashes to jump? Yeah. You just need momentum. Like, the dashes are so good because you just, like, create momentum out of nothingness. Which is nice for, like, any time you get caught in a bad situation. GG's, lady. If you buy 2 of the shock pistols from Jonesy, every single shot will shock. Am I the only one that doesn't like that? Like, hold on. I'm trying to save this guy from the Storm Beast. Should I let this AI kill me? Oh no, it's not an AI. If he didn't use the bird gloves, I might have given him the win. Like, just pull up on the Storm Beast. Kill the Storm Beast. And then let the player that it was harassing win. But anyways, what I was going to say is, like, I don't even want to double shock pistol my enemy. Like, I feel like that would make it harder to just shoot them. I don't know. I don't want my enemy bouncing around. It's like the same with the Yoink shotgun. It can be good, but like I feel like it throws me off too when my enemy just gets like flung around randomly. I just want things to be normal.